Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast Control or Be Controlled. This podcast is designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And I remain your humble host, Darlington Ubuka. Today's guest is Ken Kunken, a man whose life is a powerful example of resilience, determination, and redefining what's possible. After a devastating football injury at Cornell left him nearly paralyzed from the shoulders down, Ken refused to let that define his future. He went on to become the first quadrip- quadruple, quadriplegic to graduate from Cornell, earned multiple advanced degrees, and spent over 40 years as a prosecutor, rising to deputy bureau chief. Ken is also the author of I Dream of Things That Never Were, where he shares his remarkable journey of overcoming adversity and building a life of purpose. Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Darlington, and thank you for having me as your guest.
Thank you very much, Ken. So, Ken, before we go into it, can you please introduce yourself to those who are listening?
Excuse me?
Before we go into it, can you please introduce yourself to those who are listening?
Okay. Well, my name is Ken Kunken, as Darlington said, and I'm currently living in Long Island, New York, and I'm 75 years old, very happily married, and the father of triplet sons.
Thank you very much, Ken. So, Ken, I have some questions here for you that I would like to know, and I'm sure the audience will also like to know about the answers as well. So, let's get into it. After your injury, your life changed completely. In those early moments, what helped you keep your expectations high for yourself instead of settling?
Oh, it was definitely my family. My family was very, very supportive every step of the way, and I don't know how I would have proceeded with what I needed to go through without a lot of support, encouragement, love, and motivation from my family to keep me feeling positive and trying to do the best I could do.
Oh, thank you, Cornell. You returned to Cornell at a time when accessibility was extremely limited. What drove that decision? And what did that experience teach you about resilience and mindset?
Well, at the time, I had been studying industrial engineering at Cornell, and I had just started my junior year, meaning my third year of college. So I decided to go back to Cornell to continue my studies, and my mindset was to try and not have my injury prevent me from doing anything I would have done in my life had I not been injured. I was my best to ignore the fact that I had this injury and disability and just pick up my life where it had been before I was hurt.
I enjoy your story so much, Ken. So, what motivates you?
Well, what motivates me now is my wife and children. I want to be the best I can be to one, help them in any way I can, two, to be a role model for my children, to show them that there's an awful lot everybody can do if they work hard, strive to make something of their life, and never give up.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken. So, you went on to achieve so much from advanced degree to a long career as a trial attorney. What kept you motivated to keep pushing and becoming the best version of yourself?
Well, I was very frustrated the way I was treated after my injury. I had a physical injury. It did not affect me mentally or intellectually. And yet, from the moment I was injured, a lot of people were treating me as if I didn't have a brain in my head. And I was determined to show them otherwise, that there was still a lot I can do if I'm just given the opportunity. So I went back to Cornell to try and pick up my life where it had been and make something of my life and show them that just because I had a physical disability, it didn't mean I could still proceed with my life and make something positive out of it.
So, why did you choose to pursue law and become a prosecutor?
Well, I did a few things in between. Engineering clearly was not a very viable field for me after my injury. There were no laptop computers back then. But based on recommendation of a psychology professor, I was taken an elective in psychology, he suggested I pursue a career in counseling where hopefully I could sit down, talk with others, use my, as I say, my mental ability, and hopefully help other people. So I went on, obtained 2 master's degrees in counseling, and proceeded to work as a rehabilitation counselor, which I enjoyed very much. But while I was counseling, one of my responsibilities was to speak to groups and organizations concerning non-discrimination and affirmative action concerning people with disabilities. And I would speak before groups and organizations on those topics. And after my talks, I would frequently be asked questions. And while I would do my best to respond appropriately, I was always careful to caution the questioners they should really speak with a lawyer about their concerns. And I guess it didn't take long before I started to think, there's no reason why I couldn't become that lawyer. And at the time, I had an older brother who was working as a lawyer. So I decided perhaps law would be the best field for me at that point.
So, knowing the experiences you have had in life, does that shape the way you approach justice?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said, knowing the experiences you have had in life, does that shape the way you approach justice?
Very much so, because one, I wanted to make sure that there were laws on the books that would allow a person with a disability to still go out and live a relatively normal life in a community that was not built at the time for people with disabilities. I mean, at the time, just accessibility alone made it very difficult for somebody who used a wheelchair to get out of the house and around town and take part in normal everyday activities. So that was part of it. Part of it was to make sure my rights were represented in court, that I still had the right to go out, get a job, work, have a family, and, do everything I could to control the way my life was proceeding. So law seemed like a very viable field for me.
So tell me, Ken, what are you most proud of?
Well, I'm most proud of my wife and kids by far. I mean, they make me proud every day. And the fact that here I am, a quadriplegic, basically totally dependent on others, almost totally paralyzed through my body, and yet I'm still able to lead a relatively normal life. Here I have a nice house. I had a long career in the district attorney's office, and I've helped raise 3 children that are all juniors in colleges in upstate New York, all doing really, really well, pursuing 3 different majors, and they make me proud every single day.
It's nice to see that your wife is beside you for this interview. And I think it gives me the idea that she has never, ever left your side.
Absolutely. She has helped me every step of the way, although, quite honestly, I didn't meet Anna until I had been injured more than 28 years until I finally met my wife.
Wow.
But that really, really changed my life once she came into my life.
Oh, thank you very much, Ken. So I know you have a book. Can you tell my audience about your book?
Okay, when I was first in the hospital, this is way back now in 1971, a friend of my aunt by the name of Al Meglin came to visit me in the rehabilitation center and thought that it could be very informative to others to learn more about what a spinal cord injury entailed, what the rehabilitation process was like, and how I was able to live with this injury. And he also knew that I was very depressed at the time and felt maybe by talking about it, this might help with my depression as well. So he used to visit me once a week for a period of a few months, and I would dictate to him and try and write a book. But then I went back to college, so we lost touch for a while. We tried to get together on my vacations, and then we basically stopped working on it for a while. So later on, with the aid of some special braces and splints, I was actually able to type a little bit myself very slowly. It took a long time and it was very tiring, where I could work on my book a little bit on my own. But then I put it down again for a while. And when my wife and I got married and we later had triplet sons, we both agreed this is a story that really needed to be told. So, with my wife's assistance, we sat down by her laptop computer and dictated what became my book, and we named it I Dream of Things That Never Were, the Ken Kunken story. And if I might just tell you where I got that title from, Darlington, while I was still in the rehabilitation facility, I was asked to testify before a United States Health Senate subcommittee chaired by Senator Edward Kennedy, who was a very famous senator in New York, in the United States, and he was conducting hearings throughout the country on the state of healthcare in America. And I testified in front of his committee, and after my testimony, Senator Kennedy sent me a glass paperweight in the mail that had an inscription on it that the senator said his late brother Robert Kennedy liked very much. And the inscription read, "Some men see things as they are and say why. I dream of things that never were and say why not." And that's why I got the title of my book, I Dream of Things That Never Were.
Okay, Ken. Ken, your story is very, very inspiring, and I enjoy your story so much. So I want to know, in moments when progress felt very slow and frustrating for you, how did you stay patient with yourself?
Well, it was very difficult, obviously. But again, I was so fortunate that I had help every step of the way. One, obviously, I needed physical assistance to do whatever I was doing. But two, the emotional support made a great impact on my life. And that kept me going. So, with everybody's help and encouragement, they helped push me to try and do as best and as much as I could do with my life.
You have had to rely on others physically for a very long time now. How did that shape your perspective on independence and strength?
Well, I mean, here I am. I'm now married, father of triplets. I had been working for many, many years, although, now I'm retired. Um, I knew I had to rely on myself to make a lot of important decisions and to drive myself hard to be able to go to work, earn a living, be able to support my family, my children, my wife, the upkeep on the house. So I did my best to try and control my own life and not just totally be dependent on others.
So what habits or routines have helped you maintain a strong mindset over the years?
Well, a good deal of it was trying to develop those traits in my children. I wanted to make sure that I was a good example for them, to show what it means to work hard, to have a goal, to work towards it, and to never give up. So that played a big part in me working that much harder to set an example for them.
So do you think you got more love because of your situation?
Well, that I got more love.
Yes.
Um, I got a lot of love from a lot of people, and I was very fortunate to be surrounded by a very loving family and a group of friends that has helped me every step of the way. I had a supportive family and a group of friends before my injury, but it became even stronger after that.
Okay, Ken. How do you define success today compared to how you defined it before your injury?
Well, success is very different for each individual, and it depends how it impacts each individual. I mean, for me, success meant living not just a happy life, but a life where I could eventually help others. And to me, that is a big part of my definition of success, that I could give back to the community and help others and hopefully help make life easier for anybody else, not just going through the problems and issues I went through as somebody with a disability, but anybody that's facing challenges in their life or any adversity in their life. I want to show them that there's a lot everybody can still do, never to lose hope, and to strive to be the best they can be.
So looking back now, is there anything you would have done differently?
Would I have done anything differently?
Yes.
Uh, well, I probably would not have played American football where I had my injury. That would be number one. But I made a lot of decisions in life that may not have been the best decisions. But once I made them, I did my best to make them the right decision. I mean, when I went back to Cornell, what I did, that may not have been the best decision because it was not an accessible campus. There were no ramps or curb cuts. There were steps in front of every building. But thanks to a lot of help from people, I made it work. Although I got a degree in engineering, that may have not been the best field to pursue, but I made the best of it at the time and changed to become a counselor. And I enjoyed that very much. But again, I found maybe that wasn't the best decision. So I left and went to law school and then worked as a lawyer for more than 40 years. So every decision I made, I worked hard to try and make it the right decision, whether it was the right decision at the time or later became the right decision.
Okay, Ken. I want to talk about gratitude. What did adversity teach you about gratitude?
Well, I had a lot to be grateful for. So when you talk about gratitude, there were so many people that I wanted to show gratitude for and thank. I mean, my family went so far out of their way to help me. I wanted to, one, show them that I really, really appreciated it, but that as a result of their help, now I could help others. And I did my best to not only do that, but not to disappoint my family. I wanted them to know that everything they did for me was very worthwhile because now I was helping others thanks to them.
Thank you very much, Ken. You have inspired many people through your story, those who are listening right now and those who have listened to you before. So what does that mean to you to be seen as a source of inspiration?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, when I was injured, which was 55 years ago, I was injured in 1970. I didn't have any role models that I could look to for hope or inspiration. I mean, I was injured about 25 years before Christopher Reeve unfortunately had his devastating spinal cord injury. Now, Christopher Reeve became a tremendous role model for people. He later went on to play Superman in the movie Superman, so a lot of people knew him from that. But he became a tremendous role model for people. Well, I didn't have a role model when I was first injured. So it was very important for me to show others that there was still a lot somebody could do with an injury such as mine.
Thank you, Ken. Ken, I'm a believer of everything happens for a reason. Now look at you now using your story to inspire people. Do you believe that everything happened for a reason? That the reason why you have your story so that you could help people?
Well, I hope that's true, and that's certainly part of it. But had I not been injured, I never would have met my wife. And she is the most important part of my life, made a huge difference. And if I would have never met my wife, I never would have become the father of triplet sons. So if that's the reason that I was injured, to meet my wife and become the father of triplets, then it was a pretty good reason, Darlington. And I am leading a very happy life now, despite the fact that I'm still almost totally paralyzed.
So let's go back to your book. For somebody who is in the same situation as you, what do you expect them to be or become when they read your book?
Well, one, I want to emphasize never to give up. There are a lot of times that are very difficult, that are very depressing, and we all go through them. But that doesn't mean there's not a lot you can still do. Now, when I was injured, the expectations of what somebody with a spinal cord injury could do were very, very low. I mean, even people in the medical profession believed there was not much I would ever be able to do. I believe there still was a lot, and thanks to my family, I was able to exceed everybody's expectations. Well, I want everybody now to keep their expectations higher, not just for themselves or their family, but for others they meet, and particularly people with disabilities. If given the opportunity, there's an awful lot everybody can accomplish.
Thank you, Ken. Myself, I'm inspired by your story as well. And I'm happy for you. I'm happy for what you are doing. I'm happy for how you are helping people and how you have taken this as a purpose for your life. And I'm also grateful too for your wife who has been supporting you and being by your side, and I'm grateful for your family as well. So my final question for you is this. What is it like to be the father of triplet boys?
It's the greatest thing in the world. I can't imagine anything that could be more enjoyable, more satisfying than to be the father of triplets and to have three wonderful sons that I have helped play a part in their development and their growth means the world to me. And Darlington, I'm about as happy as any father can be to be involved with the lives of my three sons.
Thank you, Ken. Ken, this has been an incredible, inspiring conversation so far. I enjoyed it, and I'm sure the audience they did as well. Thank you for sharing your story, your strengths, and the mindset that carried you through so much. Thank you very much, Ken.
Thank you, Darlington.
And to everyone that's listening right now, as Ken has said, no matter your circumstance, no matter your limitations, they don't define you or your future. Your mindset and your actions are what defines you. So, Ken, before you go, I want you to tell my audience where they can learn more about you, know more about what you do, and your book as well.
Okay, if they go on my website, which is my name, kenkunken.com, the website is kenkunken.com, and Kunken is spelled Kun as in Nancy, Ken as in Nancy, so kenkunken.com. That will tell them more about me, my life in general, as well as about my book and where it could be purchased. And it's available not only in a hardcover version, but in an ebook version, a Kindle version, as well as in an audiobook version, which I narrated myself.
Okay, thank you very much, Ken. Until next time, see you and see the audience as well. Take control or be controlled. See you all in the next episode.